Alright, I think we're close enough to 5:30 to get this train started. Honestly, every time I do these 5-minute rolls before the stream starts, I'm like, yeah, this gives me some time to mentally prepare and get ready and drink water and stuff. And every single time I end up sitting here for like 3 of those minutes going, when can I hit start? When can I hit start? But at least it gets me excited to do these streams, so that's always good. Anyway, let's see. Last stream we had was July 6th, I believe. And these were all the changes that we did. If you missed it, the July 6th VOD is on the YouTube channel, so you can watch that there. So I worked on the game on 2 days last week. If you guys follow my socials on Twitter or Bluesky, you'll know that one of those days was dedicated to getting a friend started learning Unreal Engine. And honestly, it was good for him. He originally was really scared and intimidated by the idea of making games because, you know, making games is hard. But after coming to getting some practice in Unreal Engine's blueprint scripting language, he kind of was like, oh, I can learn this. So I'll be helping him sometime this week as well, because he wants to essentially take on the challenge from Juniper Dev's Very Serious Game Jam. But instead of it being the challenge being the time limit, it's more the challenge of the theme. So if he's willing to share that stuff with you guys, I'll pass the word along. But it was really fun sitting with him for an evening and getting that started. As for what did I do, so July 8th, I created some tutorial assets to flesh out the tutorial. I made it to where each room spawns enemies of waves when it's not the final boss. I removed enemy spawners from one of the levels. We'll get to that in a minute. And then fixed the AI in one of the levels as well. The start level specifically, which is the new tutorial level. What else did I do? Dodging didn't have iframes. It now has iframes, so that's cool. The tutorial screens now have pictures. I'll show that in a minute here. I made it to where you can now choose your transformation. We'll get back to that in a minute. It has some cool color stuff. You can cancel the transformation. There's one more thing I did, and I forgot to put that here. Yeah, but we'll come back to that. Finished implementing the tutorial. I increased the enemy spawn counts for room 2. Supposedly I've made the start level the opening level for the game. We'll fact check that in a minute. And I fixed a bug. The next level transition actor, this thing over here that spawns when all enemies are defeated, didn't actually know to take you from the tutorial level to the first level of the game, so that got fixed. So let me showcase some of those features now, and then we'll start going through the features we'll be working on today. So first things first, I gotta make sure I have my save file set correctly. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 100, 100, 100. Okay, cool. That's all set correctly. Is my save file deleted? That's the next question. Da, 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 da. Save games. Delete. There we go. Cool. Now I can show you guys the tutorial. So we'll hit play. Ta-da! First screen. Henshin. These enemies are stronger than you, but not for long. When your belt is fully charged, transform using F on keyboard or left bumper on controller. So we transform. Then it gives you a quick tutorial on your suit battery. Your suit has power, but on limited charge. As you fight, the battery will drain. Once it reaches 0, you will de-transform. Fight back to charge your transformation belt. Lock on. You've trained for this day. Don't lose focus. Lock on to enemies using the middle mouse button on keyboard or by clicking the right thumbstick on controller. Light attack. Light strikes keep opponents off balance. Use light attacks by pressing left mouse button on keyboard or left face button on controller. Okay, found a bug. Roll for focus. So, already ran into a bug. It seems like when you finish that tutorial screen, you lose control of the character still. So I need to figure out what caused that. I didn't have that issue when I tested this a few days ago, but it's been a few days, and I've done some stuff since then. Might actually help if I go to the tutorial screen itself. Here it is. Yeah, to make the pictures for the tutorial screens, I literally just took screenshots, which I think this laptop's monitor is at 1440p. And then I had to crunch them to 480p to fit that picture resolution. Okay, so index number 4. If true, tutorial index. Yep, and then... Let's just test that again. So, transform. Suit battery, lock on, light attack. Yep, I still don't have control over the character. Okay. So let's get the tutorial library here. 1, and then you regain control of your character. Or I guess 0, and then it changes to 1. Da, 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 da. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Change that to 3, maybe that'll fix it. How's it going? Oh, it's going pretty well so far, Awen. A lot of progress has been done to the project. There's a tutorial now, but for some reason, since I finished working on it, a new bug has emerged. So trying to figure that out. I do think that I'm getting really close to just having this game be polished enough to just release on itch for free pretty soon. Oh, shoot, that's why. Okay, so that's why it's set as 4. After we finish this bug, all that's really left is sound effects, main menu, and a small settings menu. And then I'll be comfortable releasing this on itch for free. And then I can start going back to working on Ocean War, and we can get that where it needs to be with all the new knowledge I have. Tutorial index is equal to 1 or 2. Tutorial index goes up here, which sets the new tutorial thing. Real quick, just print string here. That way I can see that it's trying to give the player back its control. All right. Okay, it is trying to return control to the player, but the player's just not accepting it for some reason. Set show mouse cursor to false, set input mode game only, set game paused false, and set visibility hidden, which worked for the first tutorial message. So what are we missing here? Okay, so we hit the transform button. Is your transformation charge at 100 and you're not doing anything? Yes. Set time dilation. Set visibility. Set show mouse cursor. UI. Oh, wait, that's for later. This is what we want to jump to. So transform, toggle lock on, play the animation, slow down time, disable movement, and then when the animation finishes, it should do start this, which tells the wheel actor to do the transformation. It's greater than 0, nope. And then we randomize the wheel. There's the spinning. Find what you land on. Make sure it's not base form. And then transform. This sets up all the animations, which we know is working. This sets up all of the models, which we also know is working. This returns the camera back to normal, which we know is working. This returns time to normal, which we know is working. This returns time to normal for the wheel, which we know is working. This sets up battery drain, which we know is working. Next step in the sequence is to return everything back to normal and start this timer, which sets up the charging of the belt. And then finally, return character movement mode. And set the next tutorial message. So why isn't this working? That's the question. Turn player control. We'll just add a print string here. Run that one more time. So return player control worked when it was like, hey, this is how you transform, and we closed it. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why that tutorial step is not able to return player control. Especially since we do have it to where when time is returned back to normal, we're supposed to return our character's movement back to regular. Can't be because this is going on, right? Nah, that hasn't changed. Ah, man, why do tutorials have to be so hard to put into a game? It literally was just working, like when I was testing this the other day. So I'm not sure why we're suddenly having issues. Is index equal to 0? If false, do nothing. just not sure. We know movement inputs are working because we're able to move before the tutorial messages pop up. Here. Cut this out. Right after set movement mode, let's see if it's even returning the movement mode correctly. Where is it returning to and timescale stopping from code firing? We'll check that in just a second. Okay, so movement still works, can still dodge. Okay, so after transformation, it said that player control was returned. So it is the widget that's disabling control somehow. Okay, so what was your question? Where is it returning to, and is timescale stopping from code firing? It doesn't seem like it, because the animations are still playing in normal time. So this is, hold on, let me rewind so I can actually explain my thought process properly, since you're asking so politely. Okay, so this is when the player hits the transformation button. Obviously it checks if you got charge, and then this is for, did you beat the game once? If you haven't beaten the game once, it does this event. It sets your form selection as 0, so that way it tells the transformation wheel to randomize the forms. But before that, make sure you're not locked on, set your camera to the transformation pose angle, do the animation. Then set the global time dilation to 10% speed. Set the player speed to 10 times that, so it looks like normal speed for the player. Set these booleans to true. This is so that way animations don't interrupt the current animation. And this is to disable inputs at places that I don't remember. And we set movement mode to none. This makes it to where the player can't use their WASD keys to move around during the transformation. Once the animation is completed, and you know what, I'm going to open that animation so that way we don't have to speculate. Based on my provenly faulty memory. Hero animation blueprint, here we go. Transformation, yep. So as soon as the animation hits a certain point, it triggers this event, which triggers this, which is when the wheel, this thing, is told, hey, you get to move at 10 times speed, but you need to do some transformation stuff. Now this is now all still happening while the world is at 10% speed and the player is at 10 times speed, essentially. Don't worry about this true, because that's if completed runs is greater than 1. So the wheel becomes visible and it starts spinning to determine what form it's going to select for the player. Here's the spinning component. And when it's done, finished, it checks. Is this white square overlapping these 3 colored squares and not blue? If it's hovering over blue, it just randomizes between the red, green, and purple, so that way we don't land on base form. But if it's not 0, then it just makes that the current index. Regardless of the outcome, on completion, it just double checks to make sure that the base form isn't equal 0. So that way stuff happens, but not. Regardless of the outcome, this event here is triggered. And you can see that because even with this branch triggering, it still triggers this, it still triggers this, which is the same thing, just without the plug. So when this triggers, it says, what form did you land on? And based on that, as we discussed earlier, here are the animations, which then leads to this event, which leads to the models, as you can see all here. Then it does this event, return to standard, which puts the camera back at the third person angle, returns the global time to full speed, sets the wheel actor back to normal speed, and hides it, so that way it's not visible during combat. And if you didn't land on base form, which you shouldn't, it'll start draining your battery. Once this is done, we move on to this next node in the sequence, which returns the player's timescale to normal and sets transforming to false. And then starts this other event, which charges your belt every second. Clicking on all the wrong things. Once this is all done, this node right here, then too, in the sequence triggers, which returns the player's movement mode to walking, but then also tells the tutorial screen, hey, you should do the next tutorial trigger, which is done by checking if the saves and whatnot, triggering this event here, tutorial index, which gets the current index count. What about that buffered bool you were setting true after the tutorial? Are you talking about show mouse cursor? Buffered bool you were setting true after the tutorial. Sorry, what was the bool called that you're talking about? Or are you talking about pending action? I believe pending action gets turned... No, that couldn't be. Could it? Is pending action true? Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know what? I don't see an end condition for that. Animation Blueprint just does this. I swear I still had it here somewhere, but faulty memory is showing me that I am a liar to myself. So in theory then, what if we go here? We should do it in the... here we go. Pending action. Set pending action to false. If that fixes it, that'll be wonderful. Because there's other things I'd like to get done today. I swear, whenever I'm like not streaming, Rain just activates. And as soon as I stream, it's like, oh, I don't remember what I did. Might not be related, but that's the first thing I noticed being overlooked. No, good call. If it's true, then that fixes everything. Oh yeah, you were right. Cool, I can show the rest of the tutorial now. Thank you, Awen. Oh, don't worry about the lag spike when the particles spawn. That's just because I'm playing this in what's called viewport window. It's just a fast way to play test things. When you play this in standalone mode, it actually runs really smoothly. So there's a dodge, heavy attack. So it tutorializes that you can watch the enemies, prepare their swing, and then dodge, and counter with a heavy. Cool. And then last tutorial step here, special attacks. Even when your suit is low, you still have an ace up your sleeve. Launch your special attack by pressing Q on keyboard or bottom face button on controller. So lock on. Boom. And now you just got to beat this guy to continue to the next level. Oh, what? Oh, I know what just happened. No, you can't be serious. I hit the enemy into the next level hitbox, and for some reason the next level hitbox was active despite him still being alive. I bet you it's because I didn't account for... Let's see. Event begin play. That's normal. Spin. That's normal. Level complete. Are the collisions not turned off? Hold on. I might have screwed up pretty badly here. I think this this platform has always been something you could just run to the level for. Save game. Oh, I took off this branch. Ah, yeah. That would do it, wouldn't it? And if anything, we should be saving first and then doing level transitions after the fact. Well, we are, but like checking if the enemies are still alive is what I meant. Okay. Luckily, this is an easy fix. We can just kind of copy paste this up here. Is enemy spawn count equal to 0? Now save the game. Then we can just do this, which gets what the current level name is, and based on that, spawn us at the next level. Cool. Anyway, the tutorial's in, and obviously, as you saw, the next level transitions work, so that's cool. I was able to run through the game start to finish on July 9th, which was a Thursday, right? Yeah, that was a Thursday. So, yeah, all that's done. Cool. So what are we doing today? Let's see. There was a bug that I noticed when I was playtesting that, hold on, this requires an explanation, doesn't it? I think this was part of what we did on, what was it, Sunday or Monday last week? I don't remember. This end of level screen? Yeah, we did this on last stream, where when you beat the game, you know, it tells you how long it took you and then whatever. When I was playtesting and I hit restart, which is supposed to take you back to the first level, but then skips the tutorial and lets you know that you can choose your forms now, which I should also showcase now that I'm saying this out loud. I haven't tested this in standalone mode, but when I hit restart, my mouse wasn't in the game. It was still in UI mode. There's probably a simple way to fix that, but I haven't tested it yet, so that's going to be something that we might have to look at today. Let me show you the choose form menu, because I'm actually really proud of how that came out. Of course, I closed the save file before I said all this, so let's close some windows first. And then open the save file. Let's set runs completed just to 1. Oh, but I saved, so I gotta delete my save too. Save deleted. There we go. Cool. So now, if I press play, you get a new tutorial message at the start. Boom. You've returned. Your power is now in control. When you transform, you can now choose which form to equip. And just to show you this menu. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. No, don't be bugged, please. It literally, I can't believe this is the second thing that was working and now it's not working. Runs completed. Okay, so if we go back to load save, does save game exist? Create save object. Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense. It's not even pulling how many runs are completed. Runs completed. In reality, this is technically not necessary, but for our playtest, we're going to need this plugged in for a second. All right, now we can test this. Yes! Cool. So here's the menu. You can see the background gets a different shade of color depending on what you highlight. It's very subtle. I probably need to work on it, but it's pretty cool. So I chose purple. Ta-da! You can now choose your forms once you beat the game once. It's pretty cool. Okay, I think that's everything now. Or darken what's not selected. Ooh. Ooh. I kind of like that better. Actually, hold on. Widgets. The other thing I need to do is add the names of the forms to this wheel. I think I mentioned this in a previous stream, but my buddy Joe sent me a list of names I was really into, and I haven't looked at that list ever since. So that's probably something else we're gonna need to do. But yeah, let's do that. So here's the logic that goes into the transformation widget where you choose your form. On hovered, it sets the background color to a certain opacity. Meanwhile, the buttons themselves, Unreal is pretty nice about this. They let you choose, what's the color of the button when it's not hovered, what is it colored when it's hovered, what color is it when you're pressing on it. So all that logic is saved. I think what we can do to speed up the darken the colors on one of them being selected is we'll just create a new theme. We'll call it Henshin Wheel. Cool. Then we just click this button here to add the darker colors. Unity has that as well, interestingly enough. That's cool, honestly. It's a great feature. I don't know much about Godot, but if Godot doesn't have it, they should add it. Because it's really nice and intuitive to be like, okay, I added a button, but I want it to do all these cool things. Oh, cool, it's just on the panel on the right. It's so nice. I wiggled all my hands, forgetting that I don't have the hand tracking turned on. Okay, now that we got all the colors on a palette, what we should be able to do is grab these buttons and change their color based on which of these is hovered. So let's drag this closer to here on unhovered, which means we're gonna have to expand this logic too, but we'll get to that in a minute. So let's say the red form is hovered. We want purple form to have a new color and opacity. Oh, okay. Set color and opacity. There we go. It didn't work because this is referencing this, which is an image. It's this background right here. And Unreal recognizes this as a button reference, so it has to be set color and opacity for a button. So that's purple, so we want to make it darker. And then we'll need to do the same thing for green. Set color and opacity. You know what? You know how earlier we were discussing how I need to get the names of those forms put in the game? Let me write that on my notepad real quick. Uh, implement form names to wheel. I was talking to I think I mentioned this on a stream before, and if I haven't, sorry, this is the first time you're hearing about it. For about 3, maybe 4 years now, I've been hosting an event with a couple of buddies every Tuesdays. We call it Toku Tuesday, where we watch superhero shows like Kamen Rider and Ultraman. I think one time we did start watching Power Rangers and Super Sentai, but the shows we ended up picking just weren't interesting enough to be something we stuck with long term, unfortunately. Anyway, not why I'm bringing it up. I'm bringing it up because we were talking this week about how we would want to make our own show, and how cool it would be. Now, obviously, making a live action show with special effects is very expensive, and we are old enough to where being professional stuntmen for it would be very painful. Or worse, we live so far apart that it just doesn't make sense for us to meet up for maybe a month or 3 of production time just to make one episode. We have real jobs that pay us, and we can't afford to leave those behind. But one of the gimmicks of especially the Kamen Rider franchise is that the belts will actually say the name of the forms when they transform. So for example, with Kamen Rider O's, it's like Baka, Tora, Bata, and whatnot. And we were kind of talking about those sounds, which ones were great, which ones were horrible, as you do, right? And that's when one of the gimmick forms that we were talking about had like a really, really long voice line. And so I recited it just because I know it. And my friends were like, maybe you should be the voice of the gimmick belt when we make our own show. And it was funny. Didn't think much about it. But now that I'm thinking about it, because of the randomness of the first playthrough, you're not going to know the names of the forms until playthrough 2 in its current build. So I might just have to do some voice lines for the transformation belt, just to have the form names be heard by anyone trying the game for the first time, and then people who enjoy it enough to play it one more time can see the names of the forms in the wheel. How is that going to go? I've never done this before, but it might be fun. It might be fun. Okay, so let's test the color thing. I don't think we need to add logic here, but if we do, we'll do that. Okay, so that's not working. You tap your belt and it suddenly yells, Bankai! Ashisogi Jizo! That's literally how Kamen Rider works, though. Like, oh my god, you gotta watch Kamen Rider Zets. It's free to watch on YouTube with English subtitles. But every time the hero finishes their transformation, like regardless of what form it is, the belt goes, "Good morning, Rider!" Because it's all the theming is all dreams and nightmares and stuff. It's really cool. Oh man, Zets is such a good show. But yeah, that's how the show works. Yeah, except the writer is the Bankai. Oh man. Oh god. I got drag a little bit. Oh. I have to take off my glasses. Alright. So this isn't working, and I think the set color and opacity is not working because Unreal is already handling that automatically. So I think what we actually need to do is instead of set color and opacity, maybe set hovered. Target is widget. Okay, so maybe that's not how that works. Can I do set? Nope. Set. Ooh, this is interesting. Okay, how do we get this to work? Well, let's look at the wheel one more time. Okay, so hover darken zone. Just a little bit. We see that this stuff is not working. Set style. Make button style. Oh boy. Okay, so that's not how that works either. Random tangent. Have you heard the goofiness that the solo leveling main English actor did to mess with the fans? No, I know nothing about the solo leveling English dub. Enlighten me. I'd love to hear about it. When I think of like English dub shenanigans, I keep thinking about how Krillin's voice actor had to keep doing his death scream after the Frieza arc because they kept losing the recording of it. Let's see, that's curve data, scripting, set input mode. Ooh, it does not look like it's going to give us that option. You know the big line Jinwoo says for his power? Yes. You're talking about the power to convert the dead into his servitude, right? What if we do set is enabled? Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right. What do you do? Arise. Yeah. 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 Enabled. So the enabled method could work if I tweak the colors a bit. People kept telling him things like, "Don't you dare mess this up. You better get it right." Okay. Right, that should get us the result we're looking for. It's close. Maybe that's what we need to do. Disabled foreground. Compile. Ah, why? What if I... Visibility. We'll hide the actual wheel so we can see what the buttons are doing better. They're dropping to 50% opacity. Okay. Disabled foreground is showing as 1. I don't know why it being disabled is giving it 50% opacity. In response, Jinwoo's English voice actor recorded a video saying, "If you keep spamming my comment with threats, I'm gonna change it to wakey wakey. I'm going to change it to get up, buddy." Dude, I get that though. I totally get that. Has made 3 videos of different weird versions of Arrakis. He should do the Zets version where it's like Metza Metal. Oh, he has the funniest one. Erect. I don't know if you're familiar with the solo leveling parody on YouTube called they changed their name like 3 times now, but I think last time I saw it was still called Sister Leveling. They actually use erect in that one. It's great. Okay, so when we disable the buttons, it sets the opacity to 50%. And that's not what we want. Sister leveling, solo leveling abridged? Yeah, pretty much. Da, 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 da. I think we might have to give up on the idea of having the buttons change color. So we're gonna get stuck on this all night again. Which is a shame, because I do love the idea. But my skill set's just not there yet. So let's just make sure I did return this to normal real quick. Ooh. Hold on. Do I still have that critter file saved? I might be able to get the character portraits as something that appears. No! It's gone. It's okay, we can remake it. We can remake it. Didn't the buttons have a thing for highlighted versus not? They do, but I can't set their status as that, I don't think. Here, I'll pull it back up. So if we take the green button, right, and do set, let's go straight to the top real quick. Animation data, that's not relevant. Asset data, not relevant. Asset data manager, not relevant. Asset registry, not worth it. Mouse over should do that automatically. It does, but it won't change what the other buttons look like. It only affects the current button you're hovering over. And that's what we're trying to change. See button appearance, set background color. We did try color and opacity, nothing changed. Set styles, not what we want. We don't want to change click methods. Curve data is just messages, so that's not relevant. Data flow, not relevant. Those are messages. Asset tools is all messages. It's not about input. It's not about widget slot positions. It's not about blackboards. There's so much to scroll through. Why would you need to? If all are not highlighted, they should already be the color you want until you highlight them. Yeah. Earlier though, you were talking about how maybe holding one makes the other two a different color, but I guess you can see what we're going for. It doesn't matter. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I'm just getting lost in a single thing again. Yeah, it's fine. Honestly, yeah, let's just make the character portraits appear in the background. That'll be more fun. And I think what we can even do is you can't see it right now, but I'm putting my hand in a thinking position. What if hear me out. Let me know if this sounds crazy, but what if we put the wheel to the left and have the character portraits appear on the right? Because we don't have enough vertical room to have the purple form appear on the bottom of the screen without blocking the button. Having non-highlighted color be moderately darker, so it looked like the one you hovered over was backlit. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm with you now. Hold on, there's a way to do this. Let's just add these colors to our... Excuse me? Oh, right. Okay, those are different colors. So on hovered, make it brighter. On normal, make it darker. That's what you're saying, right? Yeah, okay, cool. Let's get that implemented real quick. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Oh yeah, that's so much better. Wow. It actually makes the lighting in the background stand out better too. I don't know why it does that. Maybe that's a human monkey brain thing. Yeah. But yeah, that was a good change. Cool. Let's put that in our notes. As well as the other bugs that we fixed, because I forgot about those. Fixed bug that had tutorial. Keep control of player after transformation. And this is less a bug fix, more of a change. Swapped colors of buttons during hovered / unhovered states. Drawing contrast. Yes. Okay. I don't think we need to do the character portraits then. It would be cool, but it's not necessary. What I do want to add though is some flair to some of the other stuff in the game. Oh, please don't crash. Okay, cool. First off, when the enemies spawn, they just kind of appear out of nowhere. I'd like to add some flair to that. So I think what we're going to need to do is first jump into the enemy spawner. If I wasn't so blind, I would see it right now. Hold on. Boss controller, boss blueprint, enemy AI controller, enemy parent, and those are damage states. Okay, the spawner is not here. Is it in the level blueprints? It is. Of course it is. Cool. If everything is roughly the same shade, nothing stands out, making darker draws... excuse me. Making it darker draw focus. Ah, okay. Okay, so we have the enemy spawn and get told to charge the player. We need a particle effect to spawn before the enemies do their thing. So let's go to our effects folder. Let's make a new effect. What do we want to use? I think a directional burst for the enemy appearances could work. Maybe do a confetti and just change the colors. Yeah, I think that might work. Let's see. Let's go with the man, I'm not even sure. Some of these sound good and some of these. Let's try confetti. Let's try confetti. We'll call it a basic enemy spawn. I cannot see that particle effect. Confetti, but it plays in reverse. Ooh. I wonder how we can do that though. I'm not overly familiar with Unreal's particle system. I know some basic stuff to change things, but I'm not 100% confident in changing functionality like that. But let's see what we can do. Starting from the top. Let's start from the top. Okay, we want it to spawn once. That we know. For a fixed duration. That we know. Let's see. Scalability mode, system, spawn count 100, spawn time 0. Yep, that makes sense to me. Let's see. Shape location, sphere, random directions. Better question, can we actually control that through the blueprint itself? Hold on. Spawn system at location. No, it's got to be controlled in the particle system itself, it seems. Okay. Oh, you typed a lot. Confetti, but it plays in reverse. Me either. I only half understand Unity's shuriken. For that, it would be spawning the particles on the outside of a sphere and pulling them towards the center. Okay. That might need to be a custom emitter, which... Ooh. Let's see. We do have a gravity scale. So if I could actually see gray ambient, that's a little bit better. Okay, so that's where the particles are spawning. I'm gonna see if I can get the preview camera closer. Oh, come on, Unreal. Okay, well, at least we can see it better. So that gives us something. What if I do -10, -10? -900, -900. Doesn't seem to be changing much. Aerodromatic lift. Oh. Uniform curve. This seems to be something about how they burst. If I do this, what does that look like? That didn't help much. I think I'm actually more confused now. Okay. So there's the sprite rendering. Source mode, particles, alignment, automatic. Yeah, this might be a little bit beyond me. But that does mean we can make our own sprite for the confetti. I'd like to have orange like the enemy's suits. So maybe we'll start by creating a 2D asset. Nope, not 2D. Okay, is it a 3D asset? Okay, I don't think they use materials like that though, do they? Green. They seem to be spawning as red and then slowly turning into green. That's what I'm seeing at least. Here. Real quick. Alright, cool. We'll go up here, right click, numpad 9. Spawn system at location. Basic enemy spawn. Get actor location. Cool, so now we can see this particle up close. Okay, they are spawning as green. They're also not very big, so let's change that. So scroll to the very top. So these bounds are how wide they can spawn. I think this is fine. This is how often does this particle repeat. I'm okay with once at a fixed rate for 1 second. Spawn count 100, that's fine for now. We'll see if we like it later. Initialize particle. Lifetime mode, this is how long these particles are alive. 4 to 6 seconds, I think is fine. Color mode. Maybe we can add a dark green to them. I don't know. Position mode. Mass mode, I don't care about their mass. Sprite mode. Size mode. Random uniform, so 1.5 to 3. Let's try bumping that up to, I don't know, 3.5 by 7. Yeah, that looks pretty big. So let's test that. What does that look like? Okay. So it kind of works, but it's also like, it feels like there's not enough. I think we need more particles. I like the size. I think we just need more particles. So let's put to 500. Wait for the tutorial message. Okay, now let's see the enemies spawn in that, and we'll know for sure if we like it or not. So enemy spawner. Oops. Get actor location. Basic enemy spawn. Oh, you cannot see it from here. Ooh, okay. It's probably because these particles aren't lit up on their own. So... Okay, so lighting is not something we can change. Hmm. What was their lifespan again? It's at the top, right? So 4 to 6 seconds. So what if we also just have a light that's visible for 4 to 6 seconds? This is sounding like a bad idea, but I'd like it to be visible. Let's go. That's pretty orange. Set hidden in game to be true. Set hidden in game to be false. I don't know, 3 seconds. We'll make it back to hidden in game. We're just gonna test this idea. It's probably not what we're gonna end up doing, but it could work. It could work. It kind of works, but I don't think it's worth that. So we're just gonna have to see what else we can do with the particles. I know that we have other particle effects that do come with lighting, so maybe we should be looking at those. So if we go back to our content drawer, go to the effects, specifically, I think gunfire comes with some lighting. Initialize particle, there's the color, there's the mass, sprite size, velocity, drag, gravity, scale color, rendering, that's alignment, facing mode. I don't think these are actually lit. I think they're just so close to the player. So maybe we just need to increase the particle size again, which sounds crazy. But who knows? Am I blind? I mean, yeah, but am I blind? I don't see it now. 4 to 6 seconds. Mass. Oh, here we go. Uniform sprite scale. Okay. So let's try increasing it by 4. So 7.5 and 11. Definitely gonna have to increase the radius, but it's worth a shot. Hmm. I mean, it's also the wrong color at the moment. It's green. I don't think changing the color is going to fix it, but it could help it with the visibility side of things. Whoops. Okay, so we made a material that was green, and that's what it's based on. So if we go back to our... Oh wait, no, we don't want to change this. We want to make a new material. That's what I meant to do. New material, call it orange. Promote the basic color to a variable, call it color. Get the default value, set it to red 1, green 0.5, 0.75. Okay, 0.25 it is. Alright, let's apply that color. It might just be the lighting of the level, honestly, that's making it hard to see. We could probably also help by making it not cast shadows. Yeah, when you're close, it's really visible, but when you're far, it's not visible, and that just might be a distance thing. So I think it's worth leaving it as is. We just now need to have a different particle for when it's a boss. So we'll just take this logic. Well, actually, I don't think the boss needs a particle to spawn, because he gets a whole cinematic. I think that's cool enough. But I would like to have some particles in the level to make it feel a little less empty. Which I think I added a little bit on the boss fight, but we need to fix that too. On that note, actually, let's just jump to the boss fight level and we can kind of look at what I'm talking about. Yeah, I have this little particle effect running right now, but it's not, it only covers the center of the level, because there's not a lot of particles going on with it either. Did I really only call it new particle system? Yeah, I did. Let's call it, let's not call it anything. Let's delete it, and we'll come up with something new real quick. Okay, so we have this hanging particle thing right here. And this is just particles literally hanging in the air. So if we drag that to the level, you can kind of see it there. It's got some nice, kind of like, almost wintry vibe to it. I've seen a lot of anime and tokusatsu that use this particle in some of their like peak fight scenes. I love it. I say we just kind of keep that going. So we need to enhance. So first things first, I think we need to enhance the radius that they can spawn in. Let's see, radius. Shape, location, box size. So let's do, how tall are these walls? I don't think they're 80 units. Okay, so 90 to, negative 90 to 1000. So that actually, 1000 makes a lot of sense then. Okay, so we'll just make it 1000 units tall. And just do, I don't know, 2000 by 2000. Alright, that seems to be spawning a little more evenly throughout the room. At least to an extent that I'm happy with it. So if I were to load this level real quick, let the boss do his thing. I feel like it needs more particles. I think the particle size is fine though. Yeah, particle size is fine, just need to increase the particle counts. So we're currently spawning how many? Number of particles per second to spawn, 50. Okay, I'm not worried about that. I'm more worried about how many total we're spawning here. That's not giving me a good answer here. Okay, spawn rate 50. Or is that actually how many are in the level at once? If I were to increase this by another 50, does that apply a notable impact? Oh yeah, that's actually pretty notable. Okay, then yeah, that's kind of what I wanted. Maybe we can also change the light colors in the boss arena to give the player a more stronger sense that this is a different kind of encounter. Because all the lights look the same currently. What if we bring down the brightness a bit? Intensity is currently set at 100,000. What if we do 90,000? That's not very notable. So colors it should be then. Let's change the colors to... Is it even noticeable? Oh, there we go. Maybe some red. This is the danger room. That is way too red. Okay, went a little bit too far. How about like a subtle red? That's kind of subtle. Yeah, but this boss's suit changes color a little bit under that lighting. I'm not a lighting expert, so this is kind of a explore and find out phase. Let's try blue. That's too blue. Wow. Let's try dropping that down to like here-ish. Alright, what do the other particle effects look like under this? Whoa! Okay, that's... Okay, honestly, the lighting kind of works. It kind of works. So we have particles, different lighting for the boss arena. We just gotta do something different for the other two levels, I guess. Which, I guess, by being default status, that's kind of the point. But I would like this particle to also be in the other levels, so let's go ahead and do that real quick. Six, and maybe... Just get it a little more centered. Maybe we can steal this coordinates. 570 by -90. There we go. Forgot to get rid of the point light on the enemy spawners too. There we go. Alright, so we got some particles in this level. Let's get some particles in the next level. $570 by -90. There we go. And then one more time for the tutorial level. There we go. Why does it say level blank? That is not what I clicked on. Oh, that was what I clicked on. I have a blank level. I think that's supposed to be the main menu once I get to it. PFX. -90, 500. There we go. Let me get a drink of water real quick. Okay. Alright, let's put that in our notes real quick before I forget. Added hanging particle FX to each level. Added confetti particle effects to enemy spawn. And then changed boss arena lighting color to light blue. Not bad. Okay. We should probably put together some kind of a main menu. Did I even start doing that? I very much did not start doing that. Okay, so let's use the blank level for our main menu screen. We're gonna need a main menu. We're gonna need a menu mode and stuff, so this will take a second, but we'll make a new player controller and call it menu controller. And all we need to do here is just set show mouse cursor to true. We shouldn't have to do anything else. Nope, that's it. Let's close everything we're not using at the moment as well, just to save us some processing power. I shouldn't have closed the save menu. There's one more thing I gotta do in there. We need to set the runs completed back to 0. So that way, if we finish this game today or tomorrow, we don't want to have players already be counted as beating the game and missing out on tutorials. Okay, next we're going to need a menu mode. Menu mode. Sorry, forgot to delete that test confetti mode on the player character here. And the menu mode, I think the only thing we really need to do, there we go, is just change the player controller to the menu controller, and when we make the new player character, change the default pawn class to that. So let's open the world override, make it the new menu mode. That's not it. Menu mode, there it is. And then we'll very quickly put together our menu character. Change the default pawn to menu character. And then we're just going to test this real quick. When I press play, we should just kind of spawn and have no control over our character. Perfect. And our mouse is not disappearing when I click on the screen, so that means this mouse will be able to interface with UI elements. So what I want to do now is duplicate this and call it hero menu pose. And what I'm going to do is just have him stand in the middle of the level, and on event begin play, randomize his appearance, which means we're going to have to disable a lot of the blueprints in him, but honestly, it's not a bad thing. So let's open that up. Unreal, what are you doing? There we go. Okay, so we don't need to load the save in here. We don't need to track time. Yeah, we don't need any of this, so drop that. I'm going to compile and save for every massive amount of stuff I'm deleting because I'm worried about how this is going to go. Okay, so grab all this, delete this. We can get rid of all this. I already feel Unreal Engine getting a hang of itself. Oh, as soon as I say that. Okay, what's this? Toggle lock on. We don't need this. We don't need the apply damage. We don't need the the parry mechanic that didn't make it and the dodge mechanic. We don't need movement and look inputs. God, it might have been faster to just make a different thing from scratch. Okay, so all this stuff is fine. We don't need this. We also don't need that. We don't need any of this. Don't need that. We don't need a return to standard function. Yeah, we don't need any of this, really. We can just break this to stop all that, too. So what I want for this main character screen is just get rid of all this. Make sure we're not losing any functionality that's critical to him just sitting there. Okay. Event, begin, play. Henshin. Select 1, 2. Random, integer, and range. 0, 2, 3. Oh yeah, all this attack logic. Oh, Unreal. Oh, thank God. There we go. Now if we test this. Alright, we see he's in his base form. Still in his base form. Hey, there we go. Alright, he's changing forms at random now. That's good. Just bring this in a little closer. How high off the ground is this? Oh. There we go. Getting somewhere. Just slide it a little bit this way and a little bit this way. And then we can have the main menu be on the left. And then maybe just to enhance a little bit of what's going on here. Well, first off, let's get rid of anything unnecessary. We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need this light for the gun. We're not using the camera or the spring arm. Make sure that's not doing anything. Cool, cool. Alright. Now we can work on a menu. We're also going to need to make this the default level, but we'll get to that in a minute. Let's go to widgets. Let's go create a new one. User interface, widget blueprints. Make it a user widget, and we'll call it main menu. And this is not going to be very complicated. It's just going to be very simple. Got a little canvas panel here. Get a border. Set this border to be hanging on the right, and we'll make it 500 by 100, or maybe 500 for now, and bring it 50 away from the side, and then bring it down 0, negative 100, negative 300. Okay, that's too far. 250? There we go. Cool. Grab another border, put that inside. Set the padding to be, I don't know, 10. And let's set this color to be, I want to be consistent with my other widgets here. So what color is this? Blue border on the outside, black on the inside. All right, let's do that. Pretty sure I saved that color somewhere. I did not. Okay, we're gonna need to pull that color then. We'll just add it here. So color and opacity, grab that. And then set this to be black. Brush color. Yep, that's what it was. Cool. Now we just need to grab a vertical box. This will allow us to put multiple elements inside of the border, because the border only accepts one element at a time. And then we'll need a text box. This will be the title of the game. So we'll just call that game title. We'll put our working title for now. Heroes Henshin. And then we'll just center it and add a, what did I do for the text again? White text with a blue outline. Okay. So yeah, outline color will be blue. I believe the outline size was 5. Yep. Why is it doing that? Oh, because maybe... Yep. I did color of content instead of color of the border, but now that's fixed. Cool, now we need some buttons, so let's grab a button. Get some text. This button will be the continue game button. It will be hidden unless you've completed more than one run, or it'll actually, well, I can't talk today. We'll make it visible if the game detects that you have a save. That's what we're gonna do. We'll just put the text as continue. Make sure that text is in line with our other text styles. Button colors. What are we doing? White outlines with a blue interior. Okay, that we can do. So, white outline. What's the width of the outline? 5. Okay, 5 outline size. Ta-da! And then blue interior. So probably this. Then we could just duplicate that. This will be the new game button. New game. Copy that. This will be our options menu. And then one more button. This will be our quit game button. Okay, so these buttons look a little goofy right now. So we're going to start by using the fill tool and apply that to all of these. Okay, so maybe we will just have them be like that. And then just to make sure that they don't look like they're squished together, we'll give them a uniform padding of 5. There we go. Big stretch. Oh. Alright, let's set up the quit game button real quick, because that's going to be the fastest one. Here's how you make a quit game button in Unreal. First, make a button. Make it a variable. Compile. Scroll to the very bottom. You get an onClicked event that you can use. Click it. OnClicked. Quit game. And that is how you quit games in Unreal. It's so simple. We could optionally add a sub-menu that pops up and goes, "Are you sure you want to quit?" But I'm not going to worry about that right this second. We got other things we need to do. Let's get this new game function working. So first, we'll turn it on. And then OnClicked. Now we're going to make it to where it's going to check if the player has a save. And if they do, then it's going to ask, "Are you sure you want to delete your previous save?" Or we can make this easier on ourselves and just add in the options menu I'm going to write this down. Delete save button in options. And then instead of new game, we change this to new run and continue run. Which means I'm going to have to check our save file real quick. Do we even save what level the player is in? Current form, health, battery array, henshin charge, seconds, minutes, minions defeated, boss enemies defeated, highest combo in a level, fastest time, and runs completed. No, we do not currently track what was the last level they were playing in. So we should probably add that. Compile. Get the levels, enum. Cool. And then by default, we'll set it to menu. Not menu, start. Okay, so we're gonna have to do some work here. We didn't even add the functionality of tracking how many enemies were defeated, so that's gonna be something we need to do. We'll do it now. It's not hard. Open up the actual player character real quick. So we have load save. And that reminds me we need a stat screen. There's so much to do. Let's add another button in between all of these and just call it statistics. Statistics. Okay, that is spelled correctly. It just looks weird. We'll call it player stats. Okay. So we have a player save game function somewhere in here. There it is. Let's make this somewhat easy on ourselves. Let's look at the combat mode. Combat mode. Defeated enemies. Here we go. Okay, so there's no functionality to track that just yet. Let's track that in the player, so that way we can just kind of add an integer here at the end. Set enemies. Oh, there we go. Minions defeated. That's going to be a little more complicated than what that is currently. Get minions defeated. Minions defeated. So the player is going to track how many minions they defeated in the current level. And then they're going to add that to their save files total. So just a little addition here. Get the save files total plus the player's beaten total. Add that together. Boom. We're now saving how many minions the player has defeated. And then we need to do the same thing for the bosses. So set boss enemies defeated. Bosses defeated. Compile. And then do bosses defeated. Get boss enemies defeated. Add that together. Make that the new total. Now we need to add functionality that actually triggers that. So first off, we should also open the boss enemy blueprint, because when he's defeated, he needs to tell the player that he was defeated. Here we go. When the victory camera is triggered, grab this. Actually, we should do that before that. hit player, look at player, charge, attack, apply damage. Here we go. Is health greater than 0? If false, play the defeat animation, cast to the hero character. Here we go. So we need to do that before we remove all widgets. So grab all this, slide to the right, get boss defeated, increment. Cool. So when the boss is defeated, that triggers victory camera. Oh boy. Please don't freak out on me, Unreal. Victory camera is over here. It creates the end of level screen. Does the end of level screen tell the player to save? And if it doesn't, why? On reset run, load game from slot. Okay, so this resets the player's stats, but it does before they start their next run. Yeah. But it doesn't actually tell the player to save the game. So we need to do event construct cast to hero character, get player character, and save game. So now, when the player beats the game, as soon as the boss's defeat animation finishes playing, it'll save the game. And also add +1 to the player's bosses defeated save file. Now we just need to do that same functionality for the enemies here. Cast to hero character. Get minions defeated. Increment. Get player character. Cool. So now that all should be tracked. New run. That's what we want to do. Okay, so on new run, we need to do basically what the end of level screen is doing here, where it tells the save game, hey, we're going to reset the player's stats, but maintain their minions and bosses defeated. And probably fastest time, which we didn't even set up. Now that I think about it, does the player's time save between levels? It does. Okay, cool. Hold on. When the boss is defeated, does it tell the player to save game? Yep. Oh, boss is defeated should probably be incremented first. So the boss was telling the player to save the game. Okay, well, that. Let's let the widget do that. Okay. So boss defeated increments. Spawns the widget. Camera, intro, spring arm. I was looking at the wrong thing, wasn't I? No, I was looking at the right thing. Then when the animation finishes, it tells the player to spawn this widget. I feel like I'm going crazy. Where did I see that? Play in a montage. Player release. Here we go. Victory camera. Okay. And that spawns the UI that causes end of level. And saves the game. What we want to do is check if how do I say this? What we want to do is now check if the player's time is faster than the previously established time. So load game from slot. That's not what I wanted to do. Sequence. Save the game first. Load game from slot. Hero slot. Cast to hero save. Oh my god. Okay. Get minutes and get seconds. Multiply this by 60. Add these together. And we're going to ask, is this less than the previous record, which should be fastest time minutes, fastest time seconds, times 60, plus we're gonna need more room for this. Okay. Player's previous record. Player's current runtime. Okay, is it faster than their previous record? Branch. And then if true, set fastest time minutes to be this, and set fastest time seconds might help if I do this. There we go. To be this. Cool. Now we have a way to save the player's list speedruns. We should be writing this down. Created main menu level. Created main menu widget. Quit game button. Continue run. New run. Statistics. Options. Quit game. Implemented tracking for fastest run times. Main menu level, game mode, character and controller. Random form displayed on screen. Okay. Oh, implement tracking for number of minions and bosses defeated. Oh, and I forgot one more thing. Save game to slot. Otherwise, that will not save. There's so much left to do. It feels like there's still more to do. Let's real quickly text. Put that at the bottom here. Let's do it this way. Copy this, paste this here, and we'll just say new record, and we will manage its visibility. Let's make it like really big. Visibility, visibility, visibility. Hit branch. Record visibility. Set that up here, set this down here. And then this will be controlled by a condition that we'll call new record question mark. And this will be flipped here. So if the player's run is faster than ever, set new record to be true, and if not, do nothing. This will remain hidden in-game. Cool. Now to actually work on the main menu again. So new game. Right, we wanted to steal from the end of level screen. Basically do all this right here. I actually wanted to go back to the first tutorial level. Copy all that. So when you hit new game, it's going to, well, it should check if you have a load for, it should check if you have a save first, which we can probably get over with the event begin play. Yeah, let's do that. So let's get rid of this, get rid of this. So on event construct, does save game exist? Hero slot. Branch. I forgot the other thing I wanted to add to the save system, which was the player's current level, so that way if they want to continue a run, they can. Which I have it there. So what we need to do here maybe we can get away with it up here. Hold on, we need to move some stuff around. Let's move you over here. Let's break this. Slide this up. Add a sequence. Make that sequence 2. Cast to combat mode. Get game mode. Get levels. And then drag this backwards just a hair. Set levels. It's not perfect. Might need to do this a little differently. Hold on. Can I do... break this? Promote to variable. Then can I do plus? I don't think that's how that works, but I could be wrong. We'll playtest that later. For now, that means we can do this. Which probably could have been accomplished by just doing this, but I can feel my brain rotting away already. Save everything. Alright. Does save game exists? True, cast, not cast. Load, save, load game from slot. There we go. Hero slot. Pass to hero save game. Let me think. What do we need to load? Create game. Create save game object. Hero save game. And then just save game to slot. Hero save. And then we'll just do a quick promote to variable. We'll call it fresh save. So if a player doesn't have a save, we'll make that true. That way, we can make continue run visible based on whether or not that's true. Yeah, continue game visibility. I think after I set this up, I'm going to probably call it a night. I'm losing my focus a little bit. But we'll pick this back up tomorrow. I'll set up the stream time and everything before I go to bed. So if it's a new save, we want this to be hidden, and if it's not a new save, set it to visible. So if we test this, it does nothing because our menu character has no reason to display anything because the widget's not attached. But also, I need to fix the wheel actor because it's got a print string that I forgot to take off. is that print string? Okay, none of these are being used. We can get rid of that. There it is. Now that doesn't print anything. Okay. We can close this. We can close this. We can close this. Go to our menu character. On event begin play, create widget. Main menu. Add to viewport. Did you ever look at that note program? I did. And I'm embarrassed to admit that no matter what I tried, it wouldn't install properly. I think it's just a case of me not understanding because I read through the forums and it seems like everyone knew how to do it and were asking about upcoming features and whatnot. So I'll have to try again sometime this week. For now, I still have, I don't know if you can hear this. I still have paper notepads. Yeah, it's funny too because this weekend I reinstalled Fallout New Vegas and figured out how to install all these different mods. Some of them required manual download from Nexus mods instead of using their Vortex launcher. Some of them required C++ execution of their code to change AI behaviors, and I couldn't figure out how to get Obsidian working. I don't know. Again, maybe I was reading it wrong. I was reading it right after the stream too, so maybe my brain was just not in the right headspace for it, but I do plan on trying again because I did try looking at other alternatives I was already familiar with, and they don't scratch the itch I have for this project. Quit game. Quit scheme. There we go. New run. Resets player's stats and launch and opens start level. Possibly for me, it was just an installer that worked on its own. Okay, so I must have been looking at the source code or something. Because it's on GitHub, right? That's where you're supposed to get Obsidian from? Okay, continue run is visible. If fresh save is true, set continue to be invisible. Oh, I have a save file. Hold on. Delete my save. Yes, but no? What do you mean, yes, but no? Is it on GitHub or no? Let's give the title a little bit of space. Pretty sure they have their own website. Okay, then maybe I was in the wrong place. Because I found the GitHub page very quickly, and I thought that's where it was supposed to be, because I have gone to GitHub for things like VCFace, which is the VTubing software you see now. I've used it for the other VTubing software that tracks my hands. So I'm used to diving over there, but I'll check if they have their own website, and I just missed it. Okay, so now that's working. New game. It should throw us into the start level with all of our stats reset. So let's check that. Yep, that works. get the continue run button working. We should also probably fix the fact that the buttons turn gray when you hover and click on them. Do that. Excuse me. We'll add that to the color palette real quick, and then fix the end of level screens as well. It's not disabled, pressed. Just do 0.25. Compile and save that. The outlines are not carried over. Pretty sure that's what they're set as. Yep, okay. Cool, let's just add that there. Set the outlines like that, set to 5. Okay, so why is that different? Oh, it would help if I actually set the right outline size, huh? There we go. Okay. I think let's update our notes and we'll call it here for now. Let me put what we need to do here. Main menu. Continue button, statistics button, options button. We have atmospheres, effects, and levels, so we can get rid of that. You can choose your transformation after your first run, so that's done. Transformation form, icon, and sounds. Music, sound design, pause menu. Oh, we still don't have a pause menu? Oh my god, what am I doing? Save game with stats, that's done. And particles for enemy spawn, that's done too. Game's almost done. Game's almost done. So we'll pick this back up tomorrow. Try and knock out as many of these as we can. Probably going to be the main menu for the most part, and the pause menu. And then throughout the rest of this week, I'll try and get the sound design done, so that way next Sunday's stream... What's my calendar like, actually? I forgot. I just remembered that we have a family thing coming up. Let's say Tuesday, and then if it's wrong, I will update you all. But yeah, next Tuesday, if everything's done, we'll just have that be kind of a celebration countdown stream, where we count down the release to itch. If it's not done, we'll work some more. But yeah, that'll be it for tonight. So thanks everyone who tuned in. Awen, as always, pleasure having you on the stream. Um, and yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow.